Hey guys, it's Jonny. It's a public holiday here in Spain and I'm out for a walk in the autumn settings, as you can see, and I thought I'd take you guys along with me for the walk to make a video. Now, topic of today's video is all about finance influencers like myself. Something I think is really good is that the personal finance space is growing in influence, is growing in size, and this is really good from the perspective that people are becoming more aware of this. People are wanting to learn about finances from similar-minded people. To be a finance influencer, you don't necessarily even need to come from a finance background these days. A lot of finance influencers don't. And that can in turn make them more relatable to other people. However, at the same time, there's obviously people in this space that are not so genuine. And what I want to do in this video is kind of give you some tips on how I believe you should listen to finance influencers, how you should interpret what they say to determine whether it makes sense, whether it's right for you, and also to determine whether this is in your best interests and not their best interests. So that said, let's get right into the video. So this is the trail we're walking along today. As you can see, autumn time here in Spain. The leaves on the trees have fallen off or are falling off. It's been quite cold here recently, and I've really felt it, really noticed it. Maybe because I live in an old apartment, but at the same time, you know, looking at this and hearing that there's snow in other parts of Europe, such as the UK, such as Germany, you know, I consider myself lucky on the other hand. So first things first, everything I say in this video, you know, I'm not referring to anyone in particular, I'm referring to the personal finance space as a whole. And also, I would say, you know, what I'm about to tell you, test it on me as well, because I'm equally a finance influencer. I want to help people, but at the same time, things I say, you know, they might come out wrong or they might not necessarily be applicable to you. So essentially what I'm saying is what I'm about to say also applies to me and my content. Now, the first thing I'd say is listen to multiple channels and check out multiple sources. So everyone's got that one channel, that one Instagram account, that one page, website, blog, whatever it may be, that got them into personal finance and should help them take their first steps, essentially. In my case, I think it was Graham Stephan that was one of the first accounts that I started watching, a couple of influencers in the UK, and then shortly after, you know, I discovered Dave Ramsey and the baby steps as well. And I've said this on the channel as well, you know, Dave Ramsey and the baby steps, it's a good starting point, but there comes a time where you discover other systems, other ways of thinking about finance, like for example in my case, the Money Guy show. And so as much as you might have discovered personal finance through one method, or you might have a preference for one way, consider the, you know, personal finance space like a self-service. You know, you can go listen to other accounts, listen to what they've got to say, pick things out, and then form your own opinion about it. You know, decide what's best for you, what, you know, works for your system, your situation, etc. And you know, you get to see other points of view as well. You're not just stuck in one set of mind. Speaking of like the Dave Ramsey Money Guy comparison, just to give you an idea, like Dave is like absolutely against all forms of debt except a mortgage, no credit cards, no car loans, etc. Whereas the Money Guys, they have, you know, a bit more flexibility on those topics, and they have systems that if that is a route you want to go down, like a credit card or like take out a loan for the car, then there is a way to pursue that with those means responsibly. So yeah, compare and contrast people's ideas about personal finance with one another and find a balance, find what works best for you. So it's afternoon, sun's gonna be going down in about an hour. You can see it's actually the same field that I did like a vlog from back in the summer, where I, you know, went for a walk around the fields, talked about how my emergency fund saved me in certain circumstances. Obviously it looks a lot different now in the autumn and the winter. Okay, next thing to talk about is shorts and Instagram reels. Now, these are a great way to discover new music, new content, new ideas, but for goodness sake, please don't make decisions based on just watching a short. Shorts and reels should be like your entry, your way into like finding a creator and their content, like discovering an idea. Like imagine trying to explain like why you made a particular purchase or you invested in a particular stock because you said like a short or a reel said it's a good idea. By all means watch them, like learn about the different ideas that are out there, but go and research behind it afterwards. Like go see if there's like a full video where you can see the full context of what was being talked about. Go and search like another source on the internet and see what it says about that. Go and see what other creators, other personal finance influencers are saying about this. And again, mentioning the Money Guys, I think it's good that they have like regular videos actually on their channel where they debunk a lot of these ideas, a lot of these things that are talked about on shorts, which, you know, some of them are very scammy videos, that granted, but you know, just can't just take what someone says in a short or in a reel as gospel truth. Like go do some reading behind it, go understand the context that things were said in, and then go make your own decision after that once you know a little bit more about what was being said. Next thing, it's super important when you're watching finance videos, or any video for that matter, I would say, you know, related to an opinion or a particular topic, is apply critical thinking, like why is the person saying that? What is their background? Where do they come from? What's been their experience with that kind of thing? Going back to like the Dave Ramsey example. As I said, Dave is pretty much against like all forms of debt that are not a mortgage, but that's because like he got burnt like using debt to leverage into real estate like decades ago. So it's understandable that he has that perspective. And on the other end of the scale, you've got like young people who are, like leveraging heavily into Airbnbs. They say they got like 10, 20 properties making $10,000 a month cash flow. Because they haven't got burned yet, because the thing hasn't come down and collapsed in their face. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But you get the idea, like understand the context in which someone's talking. Also think about how that affects their ability to impart wisdom, to share their opinion with you, and therefore the credibility of what they're saying. Like to talk about myself, for example, when it comes to talking about property in Spain, like, I own a property here in the Madrid region. I bought the house by myself. I speak Spanish. I understand a lot of the laws, a lot of the rules that go on around it. But at the same time, this is my primary residence. I do have, storage units that I rent out, but I haven't rented out my house, if you get what I mean. So I can give you my general thoughts about renting out. I can tell you about my experience with storage units. Still, of course, think that, what I have to say is relevant and worth listening to, but you do, of course, have to keep that in mind. I'm not a landlord in that sense. So what I'm getting at is, someone might not be a finance expert. Someone might just be talking about their general experience. And that might help, and they might give you some ideas. But again, be sure to do your own research on what they say. Make sure you understand properly what it is, because they may give it to you in a simplified format. They might not tell you everything that you need to know before you make an investment or a financial decision. When it comes to like a product or a service or a particular idea they're promoting, ask yourself as well, like, what do they have to gain from this? Do they get some personal gain out of saying what they say? Like, because they say something and you believe it, are you going to sign up to their course? Because they push a particular product, are they going to get a commission behind it? I can even talk about this for myself, like pure transparency. For example, like Wise, Raisin, Delta, which I did a video on recently. Yes, there's something for me to gain from these, but at the same time, I promote these because they're services and products that I use myself, that I know work for me and that I think could work for you as well. I don't do it purely because I want a commission. I do it because I want to help you. And at the same time, there's a lot of people who come through my inbox, send me emails asking for partnerships, and I discard them because I don't think their service is in your best interest. It's not something that I necessarily use, or it's something that I can't verify, like the reliability of it. So keep that in mind as well, guys. By the way, you can see I've stopped and sat down here just for a little break, but over there, I think back in the summer, people swimming in there, bathing in there. I actually went in there myself as well. It was a fun experience. Not the cleanest water, especially not now in the winter. And certainly no one swimming in it right now. It's freezing. Now the next thing I'm going to say, you probably laugh at, but honestly, when you see personal finance content online, don't take it as financial advice. Now that doesn't excuse the people making the content, and I include myself here, from being responsible with the content they produce, with the ideas they promote. I believe that people should be honest, open, transparent with what they say, and that they should think about, the best interest of their viewers. But at the end of the day, as I said, not everyone making this content is a licensed finance professional. Not everybody has in-depth financial knowledge. Some people are just doing this as like an outlet to diary their personal experience and to inspire others. Might be helpful, it might inspire you, but it might not necessarily be the right thing or the best thing for you to do in your situation. By all means, take the inspiration. By all means, take on board the ideas. By all means, have a look further into what they're saying. But ultimately, like, you're your own CFO. You're in charge of your finances and you're the one that makes the decisions. Don't let it be the case that because someone said something on the internet that you thought sounded cool, that you thought sounded good, it's the reason that your personal finances get messed up. And again, I say that about my own ideas as well. Even though I do come from a finance background, I do know generally what I'm talking about. Don't go and do your own research on what I say as well. This could be like a photo in somebody's house, couldn't it? Like of an autumn picture of the countryside in Spain. So the next one I want to talk about is like, take the stars out of your eyes. Content creators, they'll promote like glamorous lifestyles, like the Ferrari, like going out in Dubai, they got the big house, or even maybe they're just someone who's living a pretty normal life, but they promote the fact that they're financially free, that they get to do what they want, they travel where they want, they work when they want, etc., etc. If it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. Now, that's not saying that becoming incredibly wealthy is impossible, nor is it saying that financial independence is unachievable for people, because it is achievable, it can be done. But just think about the way that it's being promoted to you and the methods that are being promoted to you to achieve it. Does it seem risky? Would it put your financial financial situation under a strain? Are you being asked to pay something to learn a method to achieve something? Because there are a lot of like get rich quick things being sold out there on the internet. You look at like the tried and tested ways, like historically the best way to build wealth consistently is slow and steady over time by investing in things like index funds, like ETFs that track stock market indexes and grow up over time. Like the S&P 500 over, multiple decades has averaged, I think it's about 10%. If you're making 10% year on year on year and that compounds, that's going to turn into sizable wealth over the years and over the decades. And so though you might not reach financial independence tomorrow, you know that further down the line, it's something that you can see that is achievable. Will the S&P 500 continue to average 10% annually over the next decades? We don't know. But the idea is, slow, consistent, steady investing is the way to building wealth. And the last point to talk about is scam or impersonation accounts, which if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen I have my fair share of these. It's the freaking worst thing ever, honestly. I won't give my thoughts on the people behind it because, I got a lot to say and this isn't the forum to say it. But honestly, these kind of accounts, they're really harmful to like the personal finance space. I'm not the only person who has, people impersonating them on social media. A lot of others have had it too. It's taken the hard work of someone, stealing their brand image, their reputation, and just completely trashing it, using it for their own personal gain. And I'll say it as well, like Meta, until they introduced Verified, were doing a horrible job of keeping on track of these accounts. And if you don't have Meta Verified, it's kind of like good luck to you. Now, I could sign up to Meta Verified if I want, but for personal reasons I've chosen not to. Though a lot of other finance content creators who have signed up, I think, and I hope, they've seen a reduction in the number of scam accounts and impersonators that they see. But some general rules to keep in mind to help you determine whether it's a scam or not. A lot of personal finance content creators, we won't reach out to you first. We will never be the first one to message you. If we have courses, products, programs, etc., we're not going to come into your DMs to try and promote them. And a lot of us are just focused on, building wealth, teaching people about personal finance. We're not trying to get people into trading or crypto schemes to make quick money, no. And so of course something like that is not something we're going to do. Like if we know each other and I want to get in touch with you, like I have your number or I have another way to contact you other than Instagram. Like I'm not going to reach out to you like that. And what these impersonation accounts will do is they'll just copy paste everything from our account, repost it all on the same day. You can see the post dates, like you can go back to like 2021, 2022 with my account. You can see when stuff was posted. Those older posts, like they'll all have been posted like 3 days ago on an impersonation account. And the handle as well, it'll look strange. Like it won't be the usual handle that you see. Put my handle on the screen right now so you can see what it is. Anything that doesn't come from that is not me. And as I say, Meta Verified has improved this a little bit. A lot of creators have now got verified accounts. So you can see the little check next to their name so that you know that that's definitely them. So guys, the camera battery's running low, the sun's going down, so it means I need to pull this video to a close now. But I hope this video was helpful to you by pulling from different sources, by applying critical thinking, and ultimately making, the right decisions for your situation. So that said, leave a comment and let me know what you thought about these tips. And until next time, I'll see you on the next one, and let's get this money.